All right, we're excited now to be joined by Cynthia Frelund from NFL.com, NFL Network. Thank you so much for sitting down with us.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
I got to start off with your mock draft because so many Patriots fans right now, they're like edge class, and they got a couple tackle people. But you came through with Caleb Banks, a giant, penetrating defensive lineman, which I'm kind of a defense guy. I love the defense, and I saw that, and I was like, hey, I know we have some needs, but sign me up for that. What did you see in him that made you go into the Patriots?
When I watched his film and when I tracked all of the data that kind of matches strategies, he's a Vrabel. He's a Vrabel.
That's right.
That's a Vrabel person.
It's kind of easy to see, right?
Yeah. And the numbers are pretty. The good news about Mike Vrabel is that you know exactly what the strategy is going to be, and that means the fit is easier to find, right? That's great. Its clarity is great, and sticking to a plan is even greater. Which I think some people have clarity, and then they're like, no, I'm going to make this thing fit I'm going to back into my narrative here.
That's when it doesn't work.
That's not what Vrabel does. That's not what Vrabel does. He does the opposite of that. So it just felt like that was the one you're like, well, my job here is done.
It makes sense. I said, we're talking to a bunch of people this week, and it was, Vrabel came in and he's like, this is the style we want to play with effort and finish. And as soon as we saw them starting to play, especially on the defensive side of the ball, you're like, okay, I get it. And now we're starting the scouting process, and I'm like, Vrabel. These are Vrabel guys.
That's a Vrabel.
Plays with his hair on fire. But I want to ask you a little different for the Patriots.
Yeah.
We've been up at the top of the draft the last few years. Who saw last year coming? Not even us here on the inside. But
I'm obsessed with I went to BC, and your accent is, I'm obsessed with
a little bit.
Right. I'm keep talking.
I want to have a couple of drinks, then it comes out even more. We're not there. We're not there yet.
Drink. Okay.
But, I feel like when you're at the bottom of the first round, you're waiting to see who might fall through the cracks. And I do love this edge class, so I feel like we got to talk a little bit about it. Any of those guys you see that you think Vrabel guy?
So he won't be available where you're picking, but I think Cassius Howell is a Vrabel guy. The one cool thing, or there's a lot of cool things about him, but one of the coolest things about him is the fatigue factor. So I've been using the data to see how often in the fourth quarter the guys get tired versus the first quarter. So I need to rename it because it's a good thing to be low in fatigue, but that's clunky to say. So how good are you at not being fatigued? Terrible English, whatever.
Exhaustion quotient or something like that. There we go. It sounds official, right?
Well, especially quotient.
Did that fit? I don't have a degree in stats.
But the point is Cassius Howell doesn't get tired.
Yeah.
He does not have that habit. Caleb Downs, nowhere near.
Nowhere near.
Y'all will have no chance at him. No offense, but it's not an offensive thing. But that kid, no drop off.
No way.
Yeah. So. But, Cassius Howell, if he had some weird fall or whatever, that's a guy who would be a Vrabel guy.
I feel like R. Mason Thomas, too, a little bit plays with that kind of style, a little smaller kind of a guy. But when you look overall at the draft, regardless of Patriots or anything, are there any guys that just you're like, I love this guy? I think
Caleb Downs.
Easy to love him.
Yeah, so I'm all in on Caleb Downs. Now, I studied, this is ridiculous, but I spent a lot of my master's degree studying offensive linemen because somebody once told me there was nothing that I could teach them about whatever. It was stupid.
Are we going to arm length right now?
No, we're not going to arm length, but no, I feel like I'm very excited about seeing how Francis Mauigoa interviews. I don't know anything about his personality, but Miami tackle, he should measure in around 6'6", 6'7". Pretty interested to see, because I just think a lot of teams need a tackle. You've heard about. And by the way, I don't care about Will Campbell's arm size.
Neither do we.
I'd rather want him to be playing with all of his ligaments intact.
Nice.
But I don't care about his arms. He was my first pick. I'm an analytics person. I can tell you. I don't care about his arms.
Talk about a Vrabel guy. You heard last year, the second I heard him speak, I'm like,
I want to die for. It's not that serious.
It's too extreme.
Right, ratchet it down just a tiny bit. But I get where you're going with that, but just a little less.
I can ask you, just going back to this year. You have a national perspective, and you're talking about this stuff all the time. Just what was your perspective on this Patriots team this year? I know there was talk of the schedule, but Drake May, runner-up in the MVP. Like I said, not even the people inside. We were all just taken aback by how well he played and how it all came together so quickly.
I think the quick is the part. It made complete sense. Milton Williams, that was such a smart thing. But I loved Bobby Spillane. Adding Robert Spillane back to the team, I thought that was low-key, not talked about anywhere near as much as it should have been. The run stop, like that's a dude right there. But he's also, I mean, if you look at anything good that happened on the Raiders, it was like, oh, it's Robert Spillane, it's Bobby Spillane, right? So you're looking at that, and I thought even the less premium free agent, and I don't need to call him that, but less expensive. How about that? The less expensive free agent acquisitions were really good too. Did I think that this would be the year that they would go to the Super Bowl? Nope. But I wasn't really surprised. I do think it kind of, the wheels fell off a little bit with like injuries and trying to like put some like duct tape on.
Spillane being one of those down the end.
Like be like, you need a little WD-40 kid? Okay, good. Like, but I think but that could happen to any team. So, you know, it was just an unfortunate circumstance, but you know, I thought it was going to be a good team. I definitely didn't think it was a Super Bowl team though. Yet.
Yeah, well,
I thought it was a good rebuild. But
then we look at the schedule next year. I mean, it's like at Seattle, at Kansas City, at the Chargers. I mean, there's a lot of tough games. What do you feel like the strategy should be for this Patriots team this year? I mean, you know, there's cries for the number one. Everybody got to get that number one receiver. You got to get one of the three best receivers, and you know, that's a big talking point. The pressure with the edge rushers, but they've established a core, a foundation. They've got to continue to build on it. What are your thoughts on how do they approach the expectations now after going to a Super Bowl?
Can we just do like a little more of a right tackle? Oh, I'm so mean. I'm so mean. I just want to protect Drake May. I think he's so special and has the like potential to be elite. I will never crown a guy until I've seen it. You know, even Patrick Mahomes after that one amazing year, I wasn't like, I'm not ready to crown. You got to give him 3. Because then now everyone will adjust, and then can you adjust back? It seems like Drake May will be fully capable of doing that. But again, I just don't want to go. I reserve the word elite for the actual elite people. So by definition, it has to be very few. But he has all signs point to that. So like pull out like a little armored vehicle. Like who's the most refrigerator-like in this draft? Francis Mount.
Yeah, right.
Let's put him. Anyways, but long story short is that to me is like focus on that. This team has a lot of different opportunities to be successful. I don't care how it looks. I don't care if it's a number one wide receiver that's named like hottest wide receiver in the whole world. Like it doesn't need to be that. AJ Brown, a fan, okay, great. That'd be awesome. But what are you giving up to get him? Because if it's a right tackle, I'm going with that. And I'm not trying to be mean to your right tackle. I just think that, like I said, I want Drake.
Well, it's more, I mean, he's 34 years old, Morgan Moses. I mean, and usually the end of the first round, that's where you might get a right tackle, the future
I'm just saying,
kind of a player.
I'm not throwing shade. I want to give Drake May every single asset to succeed because it was so great. And I'm like a huge Hunter Henry fan.
Yeah.
Giant Hunter Henry fan. Did a service trip last year with him and his wife, and so the Herslicks, who were good BC kids, and we went to Africa, and it was about anti-human trafficking. So I would really like Hunter Henry to have like conservatively, how about 20 touchdowns? Are we good with that?
I think we could do that. I think we could manage that.
Great.
Last one, Max Crosby. Yeah, I think that's a fit. Could that move happen?
I think Max Crosby is a fit with like any team. I don't think it will happen because I think he's not going to leave the Raiders, but I don't know. I mean, they said they're going to play a 34 now. They could pretend that teams actually play base defense. He could be like, I want to play in a 43. I don't think that's actually I just don't think they'll let him out the door. Awesome. Mark Davis is like obsessed with him. So Mark Davis would be like, absolutely not. You are here. It would be a fit on any team. Like, there's no team that would be like, we don't need your services.
Right. Best pass rusher. I'm like, no, we're good. We're all set.
We're good. He's really good at run stopping too. Like
Cynthia.
at 7 seasons that he's been in the league, he has the most run stops at the position. So
a lot of Patriots fans clamoring for him. We'll see what happens. But Cynthia, thank you so much for sitting down with us.
Everyone's clamoring for him. Thank you so much for having me.
It's Max Crosby. Cynthia Frelund, everybody.